today's podcast, we've got Harry and Meghan, Boris, and overthinking in your program.
Three, two, one. Bye, Piers. Bye bye.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Damik.
And me, Tom Hall. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, he's gone, mate. He's gone, hasn't he?
Gone. Catch him morning. Only popped up.
I mean, he'll find a job. He'll find a job somewhere else, won't he? But yeah, that's a prime example of where being yourself can cost you your job. So
yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I was speaking to somebody today about him. Obviously, what blew up on was it Good Morning Britain? That was his show. They were like, "How does he get this airtime?" I'm like, "Because people put him there and watch him for a reaction. Because guess what? His social media blows up because I watch his social media because I think it's great. People were even like, remember on the last leg this week, Joanne Lumley was like, I really miss Donald Trump's tweets. She was like, I really miss it. Like, I like reading it. Like, they, as bad as they're insane they were, but you like, just for that snippet, you get to have a little look at what their brain is happening. But yeah, Piers was perfect for what he did, was to invoke a reaction out of fucking everybody. Absolute twat of a man. Don't get me wrong. But incredibly good at what he did. Guess what? He sparked up a lot of stuff and arguments and passion about people. So yeah, it's been eventful. What was an eventful yesterday? Did you watch it? You were doing something else, weren't you?
I watched it. Laura wanted to watch it. I wasn't going to watch it, but we always watch TV together of an evening, and like,
lovely.
Yeah, that's literally all we can do, mate, right now. So yeah, and like she wanted to watch it, so I was just like, yeah, cool, no worries. And I didn't think I'd get that into it, but I watched it.
Yeah.
And I kind of came away from it thinking, like, I feel sorry for her. I hope she's all right. Like, that doesn't sound like a great place to be, etc. Sounds like she's doing better now, or whatever. And I genuinely didn't think to myself, oh, there's gonna be this big, massive fucking thing that there has been today from it. But at the same time, like, I kind of feel like, what do you expect from a family that just like covers up for one of their nonce kids who can get away with anything they want? And it's like, I have no feelings about the royal family. Like, I just don't think they're relevant or interesting or add anything to our country as it stands. And I think from that point of view, I maybe never thought it would be that much of an issue. I think when you hear about it, you think, oh, Meghan Markle's not happy in the royal family. I'm like, oh, okay, well, she can just leave, can't she? And it's like, well, no, actually she can't. And like, I think from watching more of the like Diana series that have been on, and also then seeing this interview, I'm like, fucking hell, it's like, how is this establishment still going? Like, and you can see how, I think she made the point about how like the monarchy and the tabloids are just like, they need each other.
Yeah,
and I was sat there going,
right? Yeah, they have this symbiotic relationship.
And I was sat there going, that is bang on, because without the tabloids, no one would give a fuck about the royal family. Without the royal family, the tabloids would have fuck all to write about. And I was sat there like, it's really odd how, like, because neither of those two things do I give a shit about. And I think that they've got a real issue in the generational thing, because as the generations go through, for example, when Prince Charles becomes king, no one's going to give a fuck. Like, you know, when you saw, like, I watched the Diana stuff, and when you saw like the wedding, and you saw everyone lying in the streets and this sort of stuff, you know, if Prince Charles becomes king, I ain't going to watch anything on TV. I'll be doing my work, mate. Like, I couldn't give a fuck. I just think it's so, whereas years ago, it would have been a day off, a bank holiday, you know, he's getting sworn in as king or whatever. And like, again, same with like, obviously the Queen is going to die at some point. Yes, it'll be very sad, all this sort of stuff. But
I'm going to put a bet on that the Queen outlives Charles.
I think she's going to outlive Meghan Markle. Fucking hell. She better check the brakes on her fucking car. But yeah, like, I just found it very, very odd. And I think the fascinating thing for me has been, and I nearly posted about this on Instagram, but I just couldn't be bothered giving it any energy, is that the people that I speak to on a daily basis, I was like, I've had no conversations about this interview, like, with anyone. because my circle just don't talk about it. Just don't give a shit. It's just like so irrelevant, and it's only because you see all these. It's only because of all the memes and stuff today that I've been like, oh my god, I'm talking about it more because it's fucking hilarious. All these memes that are coming out. The actual thing itself is really bad. Like it's awful what she's gone through, and what she's been through. But the memes are something else because my favorite ones have been the ones about Prince Andrew and the whole family and like, oh yeah, we left because Prince Andrew was asking to babysit and all this sort of stuff. It's like fucking hell, like the internet just gets hold of it, don't they? But yeah, it's just it's frightening. The royal family thing is frightening.
The royal family is frightening. I mean, I'm indifferent about them. Like, I think the argument is always there that they're there for tourism. For the amount of money they use and blah blah blah. They bring in for tourism, and then every single time somebody says that to me, I was like, counterpoint. We don't know because we never existed without them. I was like, so we actually don't know the other side of that story, and we always will have history. I was like, therefore, they will always be a tourist attraction because the history.
People will always come to the palace, whether there's people there or not. Like Correct. To see it, people come and get a picture outside it, and I think that's the thing. Like I said before about the generational thing, it's going to die out. That whole thing of like, oh, we came to see the Buckingham Palace. It's like, yeah, because it's just a landmark in London, not because you thought you were going to see the Queen or anything. Like
because Elizabeth was going to come out and wave.
I'd be interested to see the crowds if like like they do tours of Australia and sort of stuff. I'd love to see the crowds and whether it's changed in the years because I would suspect it's
Who turns up to them like what?
I just wouldn't give a fuck. I don't get
like,
it.
Oh, Harry and Meghan are doing a tour of Australia. Are they? All right.
Great. Nice.
Is it like the Grand Tour? Then I might watch. Then is Clarkson with them? No. All right. Well, it's probably going to be terrible. And I mean, the whole interview. If anybody hasn't watched it, go watch it. Jesus. Got some good ratings apparently. We did nothing else to do. So of course it's going to have good ratings. Didn't really get that. It's weird, isn't it? Because I think. All right, from my perspective, I'll give my two cents. I think the actual royal family, say the Duke and William and all that, and the Queen, probably aren't that bad people. Probably are okay. They're probably fine. I think it's what she kept referring to as the firm and the institution and the whole. Yeah.
It's the collective.
This is what we do. No, this is the royals, and it's probably the royals that aren't actually royals. Like it's the people the staffing, it's their handlers, and they have to have this persona. Or they're probably really nice people. I think like Harry is probably a quite nice person, like behind closed doors and blah blah blah. But they have to have this persona because of the tabloids, because they have to be that way and have all like wave and smile. So I was just like, okay, they never really blamed the family, did they? They blamed, or they kind of blamed with no support. They never came out to like Bush, but they always said the firm or the institution was the thing.
I think it's going to be like the individual people on their own are probably quite nice, but they will have that thing of like, but we can't upset the establishment and the institution. Correct. Whereas actually, if every single one of them stood up, then you could. But they all think all the others have to think that way as well, and then it becomes like this. It's just a traditional thing, which is
domino thing.
I suppose the whole argument with racism in general and stuff like that is it's traditional in the sense of like it's of a certain age, of a certain family, and
that like the conversation about the racism is such a taboo thing to talk about as well. And I'm like, it's the whole. So I believe like. Thank God the fact doctor isn't here because I'm going to get quoted as just a complete privileged white male. I mean, you're going to quote me that anyway. But isn't Meghan Markle she doesn't look black essentially? Like to me, I wouldn't even bother. Like that wouldn't be a thing that would pop into my head ever.
No.
And it's strange that like all right that conversation apparently happened, but they wouldn't go into it, and I just really wanted them to, like, you kind of went into everything else. And I was like, why couldn't you go into that conversation about the skin's color and just not to name and shame, but it was just like, and it was kind of hearsay. It wasn't directed directly at her. It was through him. And then he wouldn't name it. And I was like, oh Jesus, this was really a thing.
It is just generational though.
It's probably generational. And I was like, there's probably, and we didn't know context as well. It could have been jovial. It could have been Harry getting the wrong end of the stick. It could have been something like that. And like, I understand that, like, it's probably not even right to be jovial, but there's going to be a point that we say this, Dan. It's like, you can't laugh at yourself. If that becomes offensive, it'll be like, oh, Dan, you got big ears, but you can't joke about the big ears because you might offend somebody else that has big ears. So if you can't be self-deprecating, it's like, what are we even allowed to joke about? And I'm like, I guess it's not that. I have little sympathy for Meghan and Harry in terms of going it alone, kind of, we're going to go and do the big struggle, because she had a fairly successful career previously. And I have a lot of sympathy for Harry because he was born into that role. He knows no different. He was also broadcast in front of millions and millions of people at an incredibly young age, walking behind his mum's coffin, essentially, like in that thing. I have no idea how you recover from that. Like, that must have been traumatic to hell. And he's obviously, I feel like he just wants to go off and be in the military, and he'll be happy with that. Go off, do Africa, do that kind of stuff. And he'll be like, I just want to run away. Never really wanted to serve like William does, right? So I kind of get that. But the whole like, how are we going to get by? I just want to go to Canada and just chill here. But can we still live off of the state a little bit, but not really? But I'm like,
that's the thing.
Security's gone. Okay. Do you work for them anymore? No. So therefore, guess what? You're not a former prime minister. Those, as far as I'm aware, the only people who are former prime minister, you always get 24-hour security no matter where you are. If you're a prime minister.
Do you? Did not know that.
Correct. Yeah, that's a true thing. So yeah, all those people, former prime ministers, get 24-hour security based off the state. We pay for that, Daniel. So would you be happy? Would you be happy knowing that some of your tax pounds and pence go to what would be Harry and Meghan's security, even though they're not doing their duty as a royal?
Absolutely
Probably not. No, I'd be like, all right.
I think that's the thing with it, is all that sort of side of it. I agree with you. I do think it's a bit of a, but I suppose the main part of the interview was more like,
and it was
exposing
you can't leave kind of thing.
It was exposing
Which
that whole
like if that's true, that's insane. Like,
it's exposing that whole element to it, isn't it? The fact, and obviously they've got to go it, and they've got to sign their deals with Netflix and Spotify and stuff. I don't,
exactly.
they're never going to struggle for money. I'm not worried about that for them. Do you know what I mean?
But like, where can we possibly live? We just got to what's that? Oh, you can have my £100 million house. That'd be fine. Yeah, and my security. All right, okay, that's fine. Oh, where can we possibly move to? And Oprah was like, you just live 2 doors down from me. All right.
It's just
there's a woman
for
who's
me
head screwed on. Oprah Winfrey. She's done well.
Yeah. The thing that got me out of it all was more just, I wasn't shocked in any way, shape, or form by the allegations about the royal family. Like, I just wasn't. I was just like, what? I was like, yeah.
I was like, of course they're weird. Like,
of course they're like that. Like I said, look at Andrew. Fuck me, you just all stood by him and just let him fucking invite someone into the palace and talk about him being a nonce. It's like,
I enjoyed Oprah going, have you guys watched The Crown? They were like, yeah, we've watched a bit of The Crown. We've watched a couple of episodes. Like, you've watched it all. And
I was about to say, when they said, yeah, we've watched some of it. We're like, no, you haven't. You've watched every single episode.
And obviously, like, I love The Crown. That was great. I thought it was absolutely spectacular, like the last season. And that does not paint the royal family in a good light at all. And like, they had to put because the royal family got a little bit pissed off about The Crown, and they had to say, obviously, some of this is not actually may not be true. Of
course it fucking is.
It was all true. What is love? Whatever, Charles.
Anyway,
Jesus Christ.
Jesus, Charles. Let's move on. Fucking royal family are boring. They really are.
It's just really had to cover it. I mean, it's insane. Basically, they're both as bad as each other. Both give them a clip around the ear and carry on with life, because in all extents like purposes, it's not real life. Like, this is fantasy princes, literally princes and princesses stuff. Like, oh no, I've left the castle. Okay, right. Well, you're not working 3 jobs. You haven't lost your job it's not like they lost their job because of COVID and now they're struggling to make ends meet and put food on the table. That's a real thing. And I feel sorry for those people. Maybe we should talk about that. But sad Piers Morgan's gone, eh? I mean, one good thing came out of it, so Piers Morgan's unemployed. All right, I guess we have to. We that was number 1 on my list to talk about. We got to talk about Boris's nutrition, and I've written something about overthinking programming, which I'll go into a little bit. It's only just from talking to level 2, level 3 students, and just like to put their mind at ease more than anything else. We got to try these, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got a new protein bar to try. Not
Protein
protein
bar
pantry
review,
either.
Protein bar review. Yeah.
So this is from my client Nikki.
Nikki,
Who's
I believe
started...
her Instagram is Nikki Shade Nutrition. Is that right?
Nikki Shade. I'm just looking at it now. Looking for it now. Yes, at Nikki Shade Nutrition. She's just started.
We have conversed before, Nikki, I believe. And a few little post-it notes, they're lovely, with the macros on. I haven't got that with me. Dan can read those.
I've got them right next to me. I think I left them in the kitchen. Yeah. Shame.
Do you want to talk whilst I go try and get it, or? Yeah,
go on then. So basically, we've got 2 versions here. They're almost like a big peanut butter cup size. Like, that's the best way to describe it. Big peanut butter cup size. We've got white chocolate Biscoff and a chocolate orange. And she's kindly made one each for me and Tom. So we've both got one of each flavor to try. The chocolate orange smells very chocolate orangey. Very chocolate orangey. And the white chocolate Biscoff, I believe since these recipes as well, she's actually upgraded the recipe, and she's played around it a few more times and made it. Well, I know she's been busy.
She's been busy. Yeah,
so
Jesus. All right. So
I'm going to go straight in for the white chocolate Biscoff. I'm going for.
I got the macros. So we got the chocolate orange. Oh, you're going to Biscoff. Okay, Biscoff is 275 calories, 22 grams of protein, 22 grams of carbs, 11 grams of fat, and 14 grams of fiber. So Daniel is having a chomp through that. I'm going to open the other one, right? The chocolate orange. I've opened the Biscoff one because I was going to go for that one first as well. But because, Biscoff is the best thing ever. I have just opened that. I was obviously listening to Daniel as I ran away from my microphone. But the chocolate orange one smells incredibly like Terry's chocolate orange. So, which I do like. Chocolate orange is 235. 21 grams of protein, 15 grams of carbs, 8 grams of fat, and 14 grams of fibers. Verdict, Daniel, go.
So, we kept them in the fridge.
I kept them in the fridge as well.
I kept them in the fridge, so they're a bit chewier than I think they would be normally. They're like, the protein pantry ones that are chewy, they're like the chewier ones of the protein pantry. But Nikki's made the crispy ones as well. She's made them with the soy crispies. That's very good. Very strong Biscoff taste. Wasn't disappointed with that. Very strong Biscoff taste. It's just a bit too chewy for my liking. But I think that's because of the fridge. If it was left out, it wouldn't be this chewy. So let her off there.
So chocolate orange one, just like that tastes just like Terry's chocolate orange.
Does it? I haven't had that yet.
And it's a little bit cakier. I think it's still a bit chewy because I kept mine in the fridge as well. But it's got that kind of cakey, squishly thing kind of going on.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like a not so done cake, if you get what I mean. Icing, not so done icing, because I feel like I can feel some of the sugar. I'm going to the Biscoff as well now. I had a little bite through that. Terrific for this audio, but
I think as a first attempt, they're very, very good. I think she's made it even better since. I know from her Instagram page, she's posted even more.
Really?
Yeah. So she made a white chocolate Snickers. She had a caramel middle to it. Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah. Very good that was. And she's done one, Tom, that you'll like. Cinnamon Crunch. Yeah.
That'd be decent.
Yeah. They're very good, they are, Nikki.
They are good, but yeah, I think the if you can get the texture of the orange one in the Biscoff, then I might purchase every Biscoff batch that you've got.
If you can get that Biscoffy cakey taste, like what I would do is I would buy the protein pantry ones, like the birthday cake ones, and see if you can make like a Biscoff cake version.
Yeah. Because those birthday cake ones are really, really, really nice, aren't they? And then, if you had some of those, and if you literally just, instead of having like the jam stuff they have in it, if you had Biscoff there, I would do that, Because,
Biscoff one for me is the winner out of those two. Biscoff is the winner. Like those two.
I think that's based off. I'm eating with my mouth full. Eating with my mouth full, talking.
But it's because the Biscoff taste is there throughout. It's not just like a little tiny bit of it. There you go. So well done. So I believe Nikki's got an online store now where you can buy stuff from.
Oh, really? Decent.
Yeah. So go give her a follow, and I think it's right there. Etsy.com. Yeah, you'll see it.
It's on Etsy,
yeah? Yeah. Protein bar cup, select flavour.
Lovely.
White chocolate Biscoff. It's right there.
Boom. Yeah, I'd go for the. Should be selling out of Biscoff. I think the taste of Biscoff. If you like Biscoff, have it. Like, you can buy Biscoff like treat boxes now. I've had one of them. Beautiful. Good solid bar that, or bar cake. Kind of like the thing. Yeah. But yeah, really funny. I also got a box from these guys. We'll tag them in the next show.
The Muscle Locker.
The Muscle Locker. And then I was like, I sent it to Dan. I was like, you sent me this? I was like, thanks. And no, didn't.
No.
I was like, oh. I was like, all right. And then my mum texted me later. She was like, did you get it? I was like, you sent me this. I was like, my mum knows nothing about protein. She was like, yeah, I like your IG videos. The protein bars reviews.
Brilliant.
And then she sent me like another like 12 bars, like all random ones.
Yeah.
I'm actually like that kind of stuff. I actually quite like. It's like protein wafers. I like have them.
Yeah.
Normally. They're good. Yeah.
Good shout the way. It's all about texture with protein bars for me. It's all about texture.
Isn't it? It's like the protein's kind of a given as long as you're in and around like the 18 to 22.
Because that's where with the protein pantry, like I really like. So I posted that cherry bakewell is my new favorite because it is. Because for me, that cakey texture you've got in a bar, it's just like it's ridiculous. The hazelnut cream is very good because it's crunchy, and that's also why I like the caramazin crunches because it's crunchy. The ones that I'm not as big of a fan of as those two are the ones that are that little bit softer texture.
Yeah,
a bit like these ones. It's like they're still great, but out of those three textures, I'm like they're like more normal protein bars. That's why I think if you can get that cakiness in it, it would be like for me, it would just be like. Boom.
I think the cake or crunch is like it's just that different spectrum, and then like the soft.
You obviously can't have both because they've not made one that has both in. Obviously, that must be where a lot of the calories are or whatever, and then obviously have the protein bit on top. But I think if you can nail that protein bit on top with some Biscoff spread with a cakey bit surrounded by white chocolate, oh my god, nailed it! Just nailed it.
Nailed it, mate. Nailed it. Yeah. In other news, I went to Costco this evening, and
I've still never been to a Costco.
And so I'd only ever been in the States, and I was like, oh, I did remember there was one here. So my housemate has got a Costco card. I was like, oh, right, you have to be, I don't know if you can be one as a sole trader, but you have to have a business or something like that. He gets one because he's a policeman. So you have to own a business. Yeah, I know, it's weird. So if you're a teacher or a barrister or a doctor or whatever, you can have a Costco card or something like that. I was like, what? That's bullshit. Like, why? That's ridiculous. But really cool stuff in there. It's really good. Yeah. I would suggest if anybody's thinking about buying Apple Mac products, and I deeply regret buying mine from John Lewis now, go have a look. If you can get the card, then...
Are they cheaper though, are they?
Correct, yeah.
That's annoying.
I might have been able to save myself 300-400 quid.
Fuck off! That much cheaper. Right, I need to find someone who's got a Costco card.
So I am going to have membership. And all the food, mate. You'd love it. You would love it.
Oh, I know. I know about the food.
The food and everything. Like, there's loads of just stuff that you'd be like walking around. Especially you got a new house, it's going to be dangerous. You're walking around, you'd be like, I'll have one of those. I'll have a basketball hoop. I'd have that net. I'd have that. I'd have that swing. I'd have that bit. Like Isabel would love it.
The nearest one's on in Bristol, though.
Is it Bristol? It's not that bad.
No, don't want to go Bristol, really.
It's a day trip, though, isn't it? It's lovely.
So that's well out of the way of Bristol. To be fair, it's right on the. Yeah. Maybe I should give that a whirl.
Yeah, did like it. Love a Costco. It's lovely. It was fun because it's only down it's about 25-minute drive from me.
Oh, okay.
Lovely. it's quite good. I'm like, well, it's a bit of a ball ache to get in. They have to check your card like 3 times. And I was like, Jesus. All right, what? It's like a military operation going in here. Because obviously it's all wholesale, right? So all the stuff is like, doosh, you want some oil? I'll give you some oil. You're like, Jesus. I was making comments at some of the people who are like racking up loads of stuff. I was like, Jesus, you've got a lot of oil, haven't you? And they're looking at me like, huh? I was like, yeah, good.
I bet they're saying that to mate. You can always spot a first timer. They're mate. They're like, you're there going, wow.
I'm like, yeah, look at this place. I was like, what was really cool? So they had like, there was for cans of drink, right? So obviously we talk about cans of drink all the time, but there was one box of like 30. So, but you get 10 of each of a Fanta, Dr. Pepper, and Sprite within one box. Like it's boom, 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 boom. I was like, that's a great idea. I was like, that's a fantastic idea. I was like,
because you don't want 30 of the same one.
You don't want 30, and then I was like, I don't want 30 Diet Cokes. You want like 10, 10, 10. That's what I would normally do. I buy the mixture, but it's all in one box. And I was like, oh my God. But they don't do it for diet. I was like, why not? I was like, I would have bought my whole year's stock, basically, if that was the case. So I could, all that money that people have been spending, like saving in lockdown, including myself, quite a dangerous thing having a Costco near me. Oh, well, mate.
That is dangerous.
I know, incredibly dangerous.
Maybe I should take a trip over. I need to take a trip in Bristol. Just be like, yeah, I've got a business, so just give it to me. What are you? Policeman.
Police business? I've got very important police business to be doing.
That counts, doesn't it? Counts, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right. Boris, I didn't hear this, so I've been hard at work, Dan. You've been on social media doing nothing. Boris Johnson apparently gave out some nutrition advice, and Dan wants to jump on him.
So yeah, Boris Johnson came out and was like, yeah, so and it was on Instagram, I think, Instagram story. But anyway, it went viral, obviously, because everyone in fitness jumped on it as they do. And it was like, I've cut down on my late night cheese, and I've cut down on my chocolate, and I've really reduced my carbs down, and I must say I feel fantastic. I've got loads of energy, all this sort of stuff. And basically, he was then going on about how we all need to do our bit to kind of lose weight and kind of help. I don't know, something along those lines. It was something like we're putting 100 million pounds into helping the country lose weight or something like that. It was a bit of a spiel. And of course, all the fitness industry that I saw anyway on my feed was just awash with people being like, oh, this fucking idiot giving out nutrition advice. Oh, it's just calorie deficit, you fucking idiot. You can eat what you want. I've eaten all those foods this week and I've lost weight, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, but for someone who's overweight and doesn't actually do much exercise or move much and just sits at their desk and probably snacks all the time, I was like, actually for them, cutting out cheese and reducing their chocolate and reducing their carbs is probably a really good fucking way for them to lose weight, because they ain't got a calorie count, they ain't got to worry about anything like that. They just cut out those things because they're actually really easy wins. And I just thought it was just a typical fitness industry to jump on it and be like, stick in your lane or whatever, blah, blah. And all he was doing was saying, this is what I've done. I've done this. Like, he was just like, I've just done this. And I was like, that might be. And again, how many clients do I get through the door? I look at their assessment week and I go, oh, cheese, you eat quite a bit of cheese. It's quite high in calories. I'd sub that out if I was you. And I'd probably put in something, maybe like some yogurt with some berries or something like that. Because, so what am I doing there? Taking away the cheese. Right. You're eating chocolate every day. I mean, if you're eating chocolate every day, it's not really the best thing to be doing with your calories. Like maybe every other day would be good. You still get a little bit, but then you're going to cut down some calories. Okay, cool, yeah. Yeah, and you're eating like 300 grams of carbs at the moment, and most of it's at breakfast because you're having all that fucking toast and orange juice. Probably cut that down a bit. Maybe have a protein-based breakfast and reduce carbs. Maybe carbs around on 200 a day. What have I just done? Reduce their carbs. And it frightens me that all these fucking fitness industry people, that all they want to do is get circle jerked by someone else in the fitness industry who will share that post. Oh, well done, mate. Yeah, you're right. He's an idiot. Yeah, but the general public who actually need our help, for them, that is actually good advice. Stop eating cheese late at night. You're just being greedy at that point because it's just before bed. Like, that's good advice. I don't care what anyone says. Like, yes, if you enjoy cheese, that's fine. You can have some cheese, but the point of it is that they're small, easy wins that this guy, who's the prime minister, obviously, has decided for him is the best way. He didn't say you should be cutting out your cheese. You need to cut your carbs. He just said, I've cut out cheese. I've cut down on my carbs, and I feel great. That's all he said. He wasn't giving out prescriptive prescriptive dietary advice. He was just saying, this is what I've done. But the problem is, in the fitness industry, most fucking coaches hand out what they've done to their clients. So to them, that is the same thing as giving advice, because that's exactly what they do. Yeah, I'm on intra-workout carbs now, so all my clients are. So you should get on it. No, like, I just found it baffling. I just find it baffling that people don't have the level of, I suppose, intelligence to just go, okay, what he's saying this, and use it to your advantage and go, yeah, do you know what? He's right. Like, he is right. Like, that's probably helped him in his situation. But then you can turn it around and go, in your situation, you might not want to do that, because you can eat the same amount of chocolate you're eating now if you really want. For all you know, though, he's been eating fucking selection boxes every single day. So yeah, he does need to reduce his chocolate regardless of his calorie intake and whether he was counting his fucking macros. But it's that whole thing of like, use it to spin it in the right way for your audience if that's the way you are, but don't just jump on it and look like a twat because you can jump on that bandwagon of like slagging off the Prime Minister, which again we all want to do right now because we don't like what he's doing. But it was just like a really easy thing to do. And I was just like, it's so obvious when people do it. I'm like, oh, you've gone for the cheap, easy shot. Like, rather than saying, actually, this is why it's probably worked, Boris, and educating your audience as to why it worked and actually why for him that may be the best thing to do. I just find it baffling. But yeah, because some of that audience may have cut out cheese and cut out chocolate, and they feel idiots now because you've told them they're fucking idiots for doing it. As a byproduct of saying that he's a fucking idiot for doing it. So I don't know. That's just my tuppence worth. I mean, people can disagree with me all they want. That's fine.
I think it's great. He's definitely got more of a reach than any fitness guru in this country.
I think that's the bugbear, right, for people in fitness. That's what they get concerned about. They're like, with a platform like that, you should be spreading good information. But if he said count your calories, you'd also get another bunch of people going, it's not about calories, Boris, you fucking idiot. It's not about calories. It's about carbs or whatever. Do you know, like
hormones? Jesus, Boris, why are you not taking your hormone supplements this week? Right.
Yeah, it's just Jesus. Like, come on, like we all know he's done bad things. We all know Eat Out to Help Out probably wasn't the best idea in the world, and you know he's not been great for COVID cases and stuff like that. But he literally just said it, because I watched it back a few times. He just literally said, I've cut out cheese, I've reduced my chocolate intake, I've cut down on carbs, and I feel good. That's what he said. That's all he said. It's just, and everyone was like, "Don't give out nutrition advice, mate." He's like, "He wasn't." So
he wasn't. Yeah.
You didn't listen properly, did you?
he just literally gave out an anecdote.
Just sums of the fitness industry, though, isn't it? It's just like, you know, it's that whole thing of that. You know, they just assume that, you know, they just read between the lines. You haven't read it.
Don't assume. Jesus, go on, Boris. Give all the dietary advice. I'd love his diet. It'd be great. I'm sure there's some wild things he's eaten. Jesus, throughout his life.
Oh,
I've had some boar today. It's coming. There's going to be some absolutely outrageous. We caught an ostrich, killed it, and then laid its egg. What? Yeah, that's
it.
So, of course, yeah. Crack on, mate. I'm sure he's got some. I'd love to like be in the room with him. I think it'd be great to listen to. Yeah, strange man, but yes, I wouldn't listen to his dietary advice, but he wasn't given any, as far as we can be aware. And he was giving out a good one.
Pretty much what I mean. Again, I from what I saw, I was like, yeah, he's just.
Yeah, Dan's just going to put that on the front of all of your like onboarding now. It's like, you know what Boris said? Stop eating cheese.
Yeah.
He's got.
No, Boris didn't say stop eating cheese. He said I've stopped eating cheese.
Stop eating cheese.
It's like if he got up there and was like, "Oh, cycling's really good. I've started cycling. Oh my god, Boris recommends everyone should cycle. Well, I can't afford a bike, Boris. So calm down. Just a nice cycle."
Like, you haven't said roller skaters. You must hate all roller skaters. You think roller skaters should die. Equality for roller skaters. You're like,
it's that whole thing, isn't it? It's that whole thing with the internet.
I bet there was people like, what kind of cheese? I bet he's only had cow's cheese. What about, did he think about that trade? Now people in the cheese business, and they'll lose all their trade, and now it's even worse times during COVID. Did he talk about goat's cheese or whatever? It's like, yeah, okay, wonderful.
You just can't win, can he? You know, you can't. Something he's going to say or do.
I think that's the case of everybody in that vast amount of public eye as well. Just like, because I just wanted to briefly touch up on like, because he's obviously got a lot of problems, all the Meghan stuff, the royal family stuff, and all the mental health stuff that's happening. I think just urge people to go, like, nobody knows what's happening in people's brains as well. Especially with him, I don't like, I just feel like mental health, just to breeze into that subject slightly, Daniel. Because obviously I think we didn't really discuss that with Meghan. obviously there was the mental health stuff about the suicide, and it's like, whoa, Jesus Christ. And even though Boris is incredibly wealthy and Meghan is incredibly wealthy and the royal family are incredibly wealthy, a problem is still a problem to that person. It's all relative. Like,
it doesn't make it any easier.
It doesn't make it any better.
I think if anything, you get less sympathy for that, and people think, correct. But you can afford everything. It's like, but that's not it.
Yeah, but it's not the point. It's still relative. It's relative problems.
I think I genuinely like you said, I'm really nonplussed about politics in general as well. Like I just think personally that it's probably the wrong view to take, but I don't rely on anyone else to give me a handout or to help me in any way, shape or form. I think they're all fucking useless. I think the whole system's useless. I think it needs to be revamped. But anyway, I tell you what, I will read his autobiography in 10 years' time when he talks about this period.
Oh, yeah.
I'll fucking read that. Because I would love to know what was actually going on in half of this stuff and half of these meetings and all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And maybe not even his, maybe even flipping. I'm sure someone like Chris Whitty might even be asked to do his at some point. Because people don't realize that right now we're in quite a huge global event that in 10 years' time will be looked back on and tested and looked at and reevaluated, and people are going to like book publisher will go to Chris Whitty and go, can you write your book about that, about what happened 10 years ago? They will.
I'll the history stuff, and then Isabel's going to have to learn it in school probably in about 10 years.
Yeah. How not to manage a fucking global pandemic in the year 2020.
All right.
It's
moving on. Last bit of this thing. We can round up, mate. Just from obviously our wonderful group at the PTC, about to take their level 2 exams, I believe, and they got a few weeks until they take their level 3s. They all did their mocks on the weekend, all passed. I mean, of course they did. They got me and Lucas tutors. But it was just interesting. So I ran a program. Obviously, these guys are level 2. Okay, some of them already passed or whatever. And it just, from a perspective, maybe of newer PTs that are finding this show or whatever, or starting to listen to us, and how just talking about programming. So I did a whole kind of half an hour plus on programming, which is quite hard for me to talk about at a level 2 standard, because. Obviously, no offense to a massive offense to the level 2 standards, but it was quite hard for me to be like, all right, how do I do this so it's pass? Probably what I would write would not pass a level 2 exam or a level 3 exam, and
it's crazy.
It's just mental, right? Yeah, I can probably give it to an S&C coach at Man U or the Olympic Association, and they'd be like, yeah, that is good. Off you go. Yeah, that's good enough for Bolt. Fine, he'd probably crack on with that, and it's insane. But I just think so. I made them do like a case study. Did a little joke in it, of course. I was like, oh, lol. I found myself quite funny.
Was it a Star Wars joke, Tom?
No, it wasn't. It was. I did a thing.
So you got to say it now. You got to tell us.
I named the person Karen. And then I put in the so it was Karen 48 from something like that, blah blah blah, likes fun runs and she's really competitive and stuff like that. And then I put in like health and medical concerns in her client screen. I was like, slightly raised blood pressure when having silly arguments with strangers, and then that was it. I thought it was quite funny. Didn't get as many laughs as possible.
I was about to say no, because people would be reading it and they'd be reading it going, "Yep, okay, cool. This is for an example."
I was like, you're taking it too seriously.
yeah. Because I bet they were like, do we laugh or not? And then, they're like,
And I was like, I think they're gradually getting like, obviously me and Luke's sense of humor is like, we're quite easygoing people. So we're like, no, don't take yourself too seriously. And then literally all I want to say on this is like the programming. Every single drop-in bit I did was, I was like, you're overthinking it. I was like, you're overthinking what I've written there, and you're picking out certain bits that you think is the right thing. So I don't know whether it's just condemned.
Looking for problems that aren't there, kind of thing.
Correct. Yeah, I think it was a case of like, I was like, so just to give a gist down, a little test for you, mate. I could get the blurb, but I think I can remember.
I'll fucking fail.
Just tell me what you would probably do, okay, and what you think is the goal. Like there was basically one bit of golden information there that I was like, you probably just want to focus on that, to be honest. And this would probably instruct what you do in the gym. So it was like Karen 48. She's had one ankle issue, but it was like when she was really young, and it doesn't flare up at all. And then she does 2 like fun runs a week, up to 15 kilometers a week running. She wants to come in for 3 sessions a week in the gym, but she's never really been in a gym before. She doesn't really know what she's doing. And then she'd like to start going 3 times a week. What would you say would be a good, so out of the information you've got, probably the thing you've got, the things to fixate on are the ankle
Never been in a gym
injury.
before.
Thank
Never
you.
been in a gym before.
That's the one. Okay. And they went
So,
straight
Karen,
in.
basically what we're going to do is we're going to back squat in that rack over there. We're going to go over. What do you think? How heavy are you? What are you, 40, what's he, 52 kilos? I reckon 40s would be all right. I reckon you do 40 kilos. Yeah. So let's have a look at your squat. Let's have a look. Do I need to warm up? No, you don't need to warm up, Karen. No, warm up with that. We'll warm up with the bar. It's fine. We'll do it there in the squat rack. Not a problem. Yeah, you're all right with squatting. So basically all you're going to do is just squat down with that on your back. Just squat down. Let's have a look at it. How do I hold? How do I do that? How do I hold? What to my? I don't. I haven't even got my trainers on yet. Oh, do you know what I mean? It's that, isn't it? It's like, fucking hell. Right,
So yeah, in the programming, obviously there was kind of 3 key bits of information I wanted to pick out, but Dan, there you go, straight away picked out the one key information portion which would dictate what sessions she would do. She's not really been in the gym before. So she probably needs just introductory full body sessions, and that's it. Yep. And she was like, she's never been in the gym before. It's like, is she going to get a benefit from just fucking walking in there? Yes. Okay. So, and then the fixation of everybody was like, oh, she needs to do leg strength because she needs to get faster. She wants to get quicker at running, and she needs to do strength at running. She was like, she's a fucking fun runner. Like, yeah. She's running 15 kilometers a week. She's barely running. Like, Dan runs after Isabel 15 kilometers a week.
Yeah. I think that's as well where people would also look at the slightly raised blood pressure as well, and they would I've known people that fixate on that, and it's like, okay, if you're taking someone who's never been to the gym before through 3 roughly full body sessions, they're never going to get to a point where their blood pressure is going to be that high that it's going to be an issue, because you shouldn't be training at that intensity just yet. And then once you've done 4 to 6 weeks of doing that, you might find their blood pressure actually starts to improve even in just 4 to 6 weeks of doing that. Yeah. If you talk about diet a little bit as well and stuff. So like you said, people fixate on things like that, and they worry too much about that. Again, slightly overweight, not a problem. Like most people are. It's not really a problem. That's why they're here in the gym. Like you don't have to really give. Yeah. If they're obese and their joints are compromised, different. But I'd imagine with that sort of thing, most people are looking at, oh, she's that age, I shouldn't really be lifting any heavy weights at that age. Why not? Like, why not? At some point, she might need to lift heavy weights. Like, yes, at the start, she's not going to need to. But for her, at the start, 8 kilograms is heavy. So it's like, well, that's you can do a goblet squat with 8 kilo kettlebell. It's not a problem. Like, but I think the problem is people then think, oh, she's going to be on that forever. Can't do heavy. She's 48. Well, no, get her strong as quick as you can, because she's going to really benefit from it. Yeah. I think, it's people read too much into it, don't they? But like you said, it's about, I'm just glad I got it right, to be honest. Going for that.
Yeah. Then I had to write. So as one of the other tasks that we do is I wrote a purposely bad program with mistakes in it, which is always really fun to do because you throw random shit in there, and then
back squat with bicep curls in a squat.
No, I did A1 bicep curls, A2 cross trainer, and I was like, people got that right.
Oh, thank God for that. I was about to say,
some of it was interesting though, because I wanted to hear, because we've teased about this all the time. I put like 9 reps in, and obviously it's fine. It's fucking fine. It doesn't.
Did anyone say that's wrong?
Yeah, of course. According to the book, 9 reps doesn't exist, does it? Like, I'm like, it's between 8 and 12. So why can't we do 9? Why does it have to be 8, 10, or 12? And then I wrote 18 reps on one. I was like. But basically, I was like, these are the mistakes according to your book. And then I basically said, for this program, apart from maybe the bicep curls and the cross trainer, I could argue my case scientifically. It could be plausible for every single one of these mistakes to be real. We could do it. I was like, and there could be a reason. So I was like, just to not blow your minds, but open them slightly. Just be like, this is very constrained for your exam. And there's a plausibility for nearly every single thing as long as the rationale fits the purpose. And I was like, what? was like, you'd only do 5 med ball slams. I was like, damn right. I was like, guess what? You're training velocity. You don't want to do any more than that. They're going to slow the fuck down after about those. So it was interesting. Then I obviously wrote GBT in. So I did like 10 sets of 10 on something. And then Luke was creasing up laughing most of the time. So it was just, it's good fun as well. It's nice for me to look through it as well. Because I'm kind of like, I have to backtrack and be like, what's the book teaching you? And then we have to be quite careful as well at teaching at this point, because it's like, I don't want to give you information that you're going to write in your exam or put in your exam and overthink again. I'm like, for the purpose of this exam, yes, do this, please. And I won't talk about it anymore until we're after. Otherwise you're gonna be like, oh, Tom said that. I was like, of course, 17 reps is completely plausible. Like, no, don't write that in the don't put that in your lap, please. Like, so yeah, super funny. Like, but well done, Dan. Good. Probably experience in the gym, probably a good thing to know. I would say so. It was interesting, but a few of them wanted like, oh, we should probably do a couple of aerobic sessions. And I was like, she's already running twice a week. She said she wanted, like, why not? It seems a bit of a waste of time to me.
So overrated for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was like, I would. There is plausible. Obviously, I might take pumping on a watt bike or some stuff like that for an extended amount of time. But I probably wouldn't. I feel like I'm not giving my service, but then I could be giving them service because they could be wanting to get better at bike and they need me there for it.
Yeah, but even with that, you're probably going to do more anaerobic work with them, because that's the sort of thing that they would probably benefit more from with you there.
With a coach there, and then I can be like, I can write your aerobic work, and I don't have time to sit here for 3 hours. If you're going to pay me to sit here for 3 hours, I'm going to do something else whilst you're training. Like, I'm bringing my admin. So it's interesting what the thought processes were as well. And it's good for me to know. And it's obviously I'm doing a lot more of this stuff, and we're going to have so many students go through us, and we just know exactly the stuff to take through for the PT core, whatever it's going to be called in the future. And we're like, this is not great here. This is what you actually do. So yeah, well done, you might pass.
Thanks, mate.
It's good. I think the things that we'd struggle on is like naming the heart and all the heart stuff, and then all the biology.
All the stuff that I've used ever since I passed that exam that I've used all those times afterwards. Oh yeah, fucking stupid, isn't it?
It's crazy, isn't it? Like, not once has somebody gone, oh, do you? Where's the aorta going to? Which valve?
Probably the aorta valve. The aorta valve?
Aortic?
Actually, it's the aortic valve. Oh, it's close enough though, isn't it? So let me off.
I mean, if somebody talking about heart surgery, I'm out of my scope of practice, surely. So yeah, maybe when we do the new standards and then we make a big enough a splash, they'll be realizing, actually, this PT core stuff, this is what trainers probably need to do to be a better trainer. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. You never know. Maybe spend more time on the muscles and stuff. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Wonderful, mate. All right. Any other business? No, not how to read assessment.
Not from me.
No. Not from you. Not from me either. I'm all good. I like the protein bars. Nikki, obviously send us more. Dan randomly gave my address out to strangers. Any more? Am I expecting anything else?
We'll see. I'll ask her. I'll see what happens. We could be like official taste testers, maybe. So
I think we're going to get that name. I'm looking forward. I feel like I have to send you the muscle locker thing and find out where my mum got it. It's just like, Mum, you know that thing you bought? Can you send one to this address as well? What?
Yeah, you just go hand out my address, mate. It's fine.
Then my mum buys more stuff on Amazon than I do. It's literally a package. She knows the Amazon delivery driver at our house. Like, get on well.
I suppose around that way, they must have the same driver come all the time.
Same driver, yeah.
We'll probably get a bit more like
diversity.
Especially you don't really see yours, do you? Because it's just downstairs, isn't it?
They literally they come to the door, then they run away. Like I'm some angry person's going to come and shower them. As if I'm going to open the door and then COVID comes out. Basically, that's how they run away.
Is it?
Like knock in the lift, gone. See you later. No, are you there? It's just the door, and I'll be like, bye. Okay, see you later. I didn't want to chat. I haven't seen anybody all day. Yeah, mate. No business from me. Thank you for listening, everybody. I guess we need to say this. I realised looking at our podcast ratings that we actually haven't had a rating since last January. What the hell is going on there? If you haven't had a rating,
please go and write a review and tell us
or a review or whatever. Review rating. We're about 150 like ratings and stuff, and that's pretty good going for most podcasts.
Isn't it?
I think we're in that ballpark figure. Not a lot of people. Well, at least 150 people have ever listened to us, Dan. So that's good.
I think that there must be a lot of people who've written a review all those years ago who probably don't listen anymore. So there must be a lot of people who need to write a review.
How dare you? They've listened every week and every minute.
Well, just laws of averages, but whatever.
To be fair, like I was looking at there's a podcast I've listened to nearly every single episode, and they release like 2 to 3 a week for probably the last. I think they just on their 8th or 9th year, like anniversary.
Really?
And I was like, my God, I've wasted so much of my time listening to this show. I was like, I'm not going to stop listening to it because I enjoy it.
Think how the poor bastards feel listening to this one. What I would say is, obviously, is like, I think over the last sort of like year, probably with the pandemic, to be fair, we probably just turned this into more of a just me and Tom chat shit show, which might be fine. It might be what you want, but like, if you have anything you want us to regularly talk about, or you have, any sort of opinions or anything like that on anything that you want talked about, going over regularly, a regular feature, like seriously, just message us and say, actually, I think it'd be really cool if you did this or you did that or whatever, because obviously, like, we do just turn up and just chat shit, and we understand that. And that may be what you want, but let us know if you do want more specific topics.
I always think we should it would just be for personal trainers, essentially, isn't it? The podcast is for PTs.
Yeah, and I think as we get back into a more normal routine with life, I think we will start talking more about it because we'll just be exposed to it more. I think that's the other thing, we have been limited with our topics, but it's just, I think it's just important to remember, look, you guys, if you've got anything you want us to talk about, just message us. We don't know unless you tell us. And if you don't tell us anything, we'll just keep chatting shit. So power's in your hands.
Yeah. I mean, one feature that we're not going to take out is the protein bar review because I'm quite enjoying it this year, and I get to eat protein bar every week.
Yeah, and I don't care if you don't like listening to the chewing, to be fair, because we like eating it. So. Lucky.
Correct. I feel like we should do at the end of the year, we can do like a protein bar off. Maybe we can get together, and then like Nikki can she'll be fully fledged making them. We'll have a few. Yeah. We can invite a couple of guests sending them, and we can do a little bit of a live YouTube thing as well. That'd be lovely. Yeah. Once we're allowed to see people again. We can all do it. We can do it at the PTC office in HQ. Easy. Bam. Done.
Easy as that. There you go.
Done. Easy as that. Lovely. All right. Thanks for listening, guys, and we will catch you next week.
See you later.